Dear seeker, have you ever felt that silent pull, a longing so deep it has no name, as if something within you remembers a light beyond this world? There are moments, in the stillness between thoughts, when a soft whisper rises, you are more than flesh, more than breath, more than time. It is in these moments that the crown of your being, the Sahasrara, begins to stir, the thousand-petaled lotus awaiting the touch of divine remembrance. Since ages, saints and yogis have spoken of a state where the soul no longer prays to God but dissolves into Him, where the seeker and the sought become one radiant flame. This is not a myth, nor a faraway heaven. It is the most intimate truth hidden within your own consciousness. As the rivers of your thoughts grow quiet, the still lake of awareness reflects the infinite, and divine bliss begins its descent from realms unseen. Maha Avatar Babaji often reminded his disciples, when your heart becomes pure like crystal and your mind steady like the mountain, the divine light shall crown your soul. The awakening of Sahasrara is that sacred moment when heaven meets earth within you, when the human awakens as divine, when every breath becomes a hymn of creation. And as the cosmic light enters through the crown, all boundaries melt, sorrow turns to peace, thought turns to silence, and love turns to oneness. The universe no longer feels vast or distant, it feels like your own being unfolding. So, dear seeker, listen closely, for the journey to the Sahasrara is not about reaching somewhere above, it is about remembering who you already are, a spark of the eternal, waiting to awaken into its boundless light. Dear seeker, Babaji once said, the Sahasrara is not in the sky above you, it is the sky within you. This sacred lotus, with its 1,000 radiant petals, rests gently at the crown of your being, unseen by eyes yet more real than all the worlds they behold. It is the throne of divine awareness, the bridge where human consciousness meets the boundless ocean of the Supreme. When the seeker's inner journey ripens through devotion, silence, and surrender, this lotus begins to bloom, petal by petal, revealing the fragrance of eternity. Each petal of the Sahasrara is a vibration of truth, a ray of divine intelligence shimmering with the light of countless suns. When it unfolds, the limited mind is dissolved in an expanse so vast that even the stars seem to breathe within you. You no longer think of God, you feel God as the pulse of your own existence. The seeker becomes aware that every cell, every atom, every breath is vibrating in unison with the infinite. Babaji explained that this lotus is not reached by climbing upward, but by descending inward. When the heart is purified and the inner winds are stilled, a gentle current of bliss rises from the base of the spine to the crown, the sacred meeting of Shakti and Shiva. And when that meeting happens, the thousand-petaled lotus bursts open in silent illumination. In that timeless bloom, dear seeker, all separation fades. The soul sees itself reflected in the mirror of infinity, perfect, eternal, whole. The body becomes light, the mind becomes still, and consciousness stands unveiled, shining like 1,000 suns within a single drop. This is the true beginning of divine remembrance, the first breath of immortality. Dear seeker, Babaji often said, when the heart is pure, bliss does not rise, it descends. The awakening of the Sahasrara is not an act of striving, but a silent invitation, a surrender so complete that the divine itself begins to flow downward through you. It is not the seeker who reaches God, it is God who descends into the seeker when the soil of the soul is ready. This sacred moment is called the descent of divine bliss, the gentle rain of grace falling upon the thousand-petaled lotus. Just as a flower opens only when kissed by sunlight, the Sahasrara unfolds only when your being is bathed in the light of truth and devotion. Through deep meditation, service, and humility, the coiled energy of Kundalini Shakti rises, seeking her eternal beloved, Shiva, the stillness at the crown. And when they meet, heaven and earth merge in a dance older than time. In that divine union, waves of bliss ripple through the subtle body, touching every cell, every breath, every thought. This is not a pleasure of the senses, dear seeker, it is the ecstasy of the soul remembering its own infinity. The body trembles not from effort but from awe, the mind falls silent not from control but from fulfillment. Babaji taught that this bliss cannot be described, it can only be become. It is like fire that cools, light that hums, love that has no direction. When divine bliss descends, even the smallest acts, a smile, a breath, a step, shimmer with sacredness. The seeker no longer moves through life, life itself moves through him as a current of God's joy. This is the blessing of Sahasrara, the descent of heaven into the heart of man. Dear seeker, there comes a moment on the sacred path when the seeker no longer asks, "Who am I?" because the one who asks has dissolved. This is the mystery of Sahasrara, the crown of divine union, where the I melts like a drop in the vast ocean of consciousness. Babaji often reminded his disciples, you cannot enter God's kingdom as a name or a form, you must enter as silence. At this stage, the river of awareness that once flowed toward the divine finally merges with the infinite sea. The seeker, the seeking, and the sought, all dissolve into a single current of being. There is no longer a meditator or an object of meditation, there is only meditation itself, pure, self-luminous awareness. Paramahansa Yogananda echoed this truth when he said, you must know God, not just believe in Him. Belief belongs to the mind, knowing belongs to the soul. To know God is not to see Him as something separate, but to awaken into His essence as your very own. The eyes may still look upon the world, but the gaze is divine, seeing the one in the many, the eternal in the fleeting. In this divine absorption, the illusion of individuality dissolves like mist in sunlight. The ego, which once whispered, I am doing, is replaced by a vast stillness that murmurs, God alone is. Thoughts lose their noise, emotions lose their edges, and what remains is a serene expanse, boundless, radiant, compassionate. Babaji described this state as becoming the silence that was always listening. Dear seeker, this is not the end of your journey, it is the beginning of eternity living through you. In the crown of divine union, you do not meet God, you awaken as God's own reflection. Dear seeker, when the Sahasrara awakens in its full splendor, the veil of separation falls away, and what remains is the luminous vision of cosmic consciousness. The soul beholds creation not as something outside, but as an endless play unfolding within. Babaji once revealed, when the thousand-petaled lotus blooms, you no longer see the universe, you become the universe seeing itself. In this sacred expansion, every particle of existence vibrates with divine intelligence. The stars above, the rivers below, the breath within your chest, all sing in one voice, the hymn of oneness. You begin to sense that nothing has ever been apart from you. The trees seem to breathe your stillness, the vines carry your awareness, and the silence between sounds becomes your eternal home. This is not imagination, dear seeker. It is the unveiling of truth that has always been, that all things are woven from one radiant fabric of consciousness. The saints call it Virat Darshan, the vision of the infinite form, where God's face is seen in every direction, and His presence felt in every heartbeat. Babaji explained that such perception does not inflate the ego but dissolves it completely. For the one who sees all as self cannot claim ownership of anything. Compassion flows effortlessly, for there is no other left to forgive or help, there is only love extending itself. In this cosmic awareness, even time loses its grip. The past and future merge into a vast eternal now, shimmering with divine light. The seeker lives, moves, and breathes as a fragment of infinity, serene, awake, unbound. As Babaji once smiled and said, the cosmos is not around you, it is your reflection in the mirror of God. Dear seeker, the Sahasrara, the thousand-petaled crown, does not open through force, desire, or impatience. It blossoms only through the fragrance of purity and surrender. Babaji lovingly taught, the divine does not visit the restless heart, it descends into the still one. To prepare for the awakening of the crown is not to chase light, but to become lightworthy. The path begins with the quiet discipline of inner harmony. Your thoughts must become transparent like still water, for the reflection of God can only appear in a calm lake. The first preparation, dear one, is stillness of mind. Through meditation and breath awareness, the inner vines grow quiet, and the soul learns to listen to the eternal silence that lies beyond words. The second is purity of heart. Forgive easily, love without reason, and let compassion become your natural language. Babaji said that each act of kindness polishes the mirror of the soul, allowing divine light to shine through unbroken. In this purity, even ordinary actions, a smile, a service, a prayer, become sacred offerings. The third preparation is surrender to divine will. Let go of the idea that you control your path. The current of grace knows where to carry you. When the ego loosens its grip, divine intelligence moves freely, guiding your every step toward the crown. And when these three, stillness, purity, and surrender, unite within you, a subtle current rises effortlessly from the base of the spine to the crown. The Sahasrara opens not as an achievement, but as a gift of grace. Babaji said gently, "Do not climb to heaven, let heaven descend through your silence. For it is not you who find God, it is God who finds himself through you." Dear seeker, when the thousand-petaled lotus of the Sahasrara fully blooms, life itself becomes a sacred offering. The awakened one no longer moves through the world as a person striving, but as divine presence flowing, silent, radiant, effortless. Babaji once said, "After the union, you do not disappear from the world disappears into you." In this luminous state, the boundaries of mine and yours, this and that, fade like mist under the morning sun. You still walk, speak, and act, yet every gesture arises from a still center untouched by time. Joy no longer depends on outer happenings, it radiates from within as an endless sunrise. Pain may touch the body, but it cannot wound the soul. The seeker becomes like a clear crystal, reflecting the world, yet belonging to none of its shadows. Babaji's disciples who attained this state often lived among ordinary people, yet their presence carried the fragrance of the infinite. They healed without words, guided without effort, and loved without condition. Their silence spoke louder than sermons, for it came from the heart of the cosmos itself. Babaji would often smile and say, "Be like the sun. It shines not because it tries to, but because it is." To live in the light of Sahasrara is to become a bridge between heaven and earth, to let divine energy flow through you into the lives of others. Every breath becomes prayer, every step becomes service, every glance a blessing. Dear seeker, this is the destiny of every soul, not to escape the world, but to illuminate it. When the crown awakens, you realize that God was never apart, He was the one breathing, seeing, and loving through you all along. Dear seeker, as our journey through the Sahasrara comes to a gentle close, take a slow breath and feel the silence within you. This silence is not emptiness, it is God listening through you. The thousand-petaled lotus we have spoken of is not merely at the crown of your head, it is the crown of your soul, the point where your human longing meets divine fulfillment. Babaji's timeless grace reminds us, you are not the traveler searching for light, you are the light remembering itself. Every prayer you whisper, every act of kindness, every moment of surrender, they are petals unfolding toward that eternal bloom. The journey to divine union is not somewhere in the heavens, it unfolds quietly, here and now, in the temple of your own awareness. Let Yogananda's sacred words echo softly in your heart. You must know God, not just believe in Him. To know God is to feel His presence pulsing through your every heartbeat, to see His beauty shimmering in every face, to hear His voice in every silence. So, dear one, walk gently in this world. Meditate daily, love without measure, and serve with humility. Each day you live with awareness is another step toward that crown of divine union. Trust that Babaji's unseen hand is guiding your spirit, protecting your path, and blessing your journey. His grace is subtle, but it never leaves the sincere seeker. If these words touched your heart, share your light below. Tell us what part of Babaji's wisdom awakened something within you. Your reflection may become another seeker's spark. Until we meet again under the same divine sky. Stay blessed, stay aware, and let your soul shine. Jai Gurudev.